Hi, it's Dave and Driving Venture once again on another Costco Drives, and I'm going solo this time round. Emily's got one of her cousins staying over, so I can't prize her away from all the excitement they're having. Crazy late nights. Anyway, what's coming up in today's video? Well, in today's video, I can announce that my Spyder has finally arrived at Porsche Centre South Lakes, and yes, I have been to see it. I've actually been to see it more than once. And as you can probably judge by my reaction, the spec's mega. It just really is absolutely mega. And so far, I think it's the only one I've seen. Follow the PTS guy on Paint the Sample guy on Instagram, and there's certainly not another one in the UK in that colour. I recently actually joined a Spyder Club. There's a guy down south who has a Spyder Club, and he's got a spreadsheet of all the people who've got Spyder cars, and there's actually a few Paint the Sample cars in the mix, but my colour's not in there, so it will be, I'm pretty certain it's going to be a one-of-one car. But anyway, more about that later. I'll try and come back to that as to when I'm planning on doing a reveal, and there's a few things in the mix, so I'll come back to that. But the main thrust of today's video is going to be the question that seems to be coming across people's minds. I've got a lot of mileage on the clock of my car, or I don't want to use my car because of the mileage. So I'm going to talk about that. So let's kick off. Okay, so you've got a really nice car. It might be a limited edition car, it could be 911R, it could be 9974 litre, it could be a speedster, or it could just be like, a GT3, which aren't easy to come by, or an RS like mine, or it might be a Spyder, or whatever it might be. And the thing that we've got to sort of get to realising now is that the clock is ticking on the petrol engine. Okay, it's going. It's going to be going. And if you've been watching any of the news recently, you'll have seen that BBC One and all the others, they're terrifying us to death now. We've now got the daily emergency climate show on Sky, if I pronounced that correctly. So hey guys, we've got an awful lot now. The media now, it's moving on a bit from coronavirus. Now they've got to find another project, and it seems to me that the project's going to be the environment's going to be climate. So we've got fires, and it's terrible. It's terrible to see it. We've got fires in Athens or Greece, and we've got flooding, and we've got all these things going on, and so it's going to hasten, in my view, the politicians' desire to get rid of the petrol engine. So we know in the UK 2030 it's all over. So what's going to happen to all of these great naturally aspirated cars in circulation? So let's think this through. You're somebody who's had a GT3, and then the dealer likes you, so they then call you up and say, oh, we've got you an RS allocation. And then they might say, right, now that the next generation 992's just popped up, oh, we can get you a new GT3 allocation. So you're out of the RS and then you're into the new GT3. Okay, that direction of travel, and that one car after the other car after the car, that's coming to an end, because you won't be able to do that. And people are going to want to hold on to the cars that, in my opinion, sound great, drive great, and they've got that raspiness to them. The new GT3 is a classic example. They've got the sound back as it needs to be. Well done, Porsche. So what's going to happen is that you're either going to have to take the view of thinking to yourself, right, well, I'm going to hold on to this great car now because another great one's not coming along next, because it's going to be an electric car, isn't it? So what are you going to do? Well, you're going to hold on to it. And so what's going to happen now in the next few years, in my opinion, is that the mileage on these cars that people have that are fantastic and brilliant, they can only go up, because there's low mileage and doing low mileage and then moving into another car, which keeps the mileage low for when it's sold. And then there's, well, I'm not moving on to another car. So even low mileage 1 year after the next, eventually is going to get you to 10,000, eventually is going to get you to 15,000 or 20,000 miles. And so these cars that are classics that people are going to want, the aspirated great engines, the famous flat six, those cars are going to be used more, and so the mileage is going to have to go up because there's going to be a finite number of them. People are going to want to use them, and so valuations, not just because valuations are spiking at the minute anyway, but they're just going up. They're going to go up, and the great cars everyone wants, I think we're going to see quite significant increases in the latter GT3 product, and for that matter other brands too, you know, because obviously these V10 Lamborghinis and the great sounding Ferraris and all the rest of it, these are cars people are going to want, you know. And how successful is this electric petrol sensational car from Ferrari? How successful is it? Is it? I don't know. So that's what I wanted to talk about there, was that just drive your car, be sensible, you know. A friend Paul there, 993, he's got over 100,000 miles on the clock. They make the parts for these engines. They, as long as they're serviced and you look after your car, I think the thrill they're going to give you and the experiences you can put these cars into, and the trips and the tours and things you can do in these cars, for me, that's going to very much outweigh, or at least does for me, the thought of, well, I better not drive it because it might go down £1,000 or £5,000 or £6,000. Long term, these great aspirated cars, they're only going one way, because you won't be offered the next GT product that's aspirated and fantastic, where you can slap a great exhaust system on and everyone's happy. Those days are going, and we're going to be in the day of, well, we can offer this electric GT car. It's the Turbo S Plus S. I mean, it's not going to have the same thing, is it? The same ring to it. It's not going to have the same aura about the car at all, and it's going because, as I say, we're being led to believe that the planet's heating up so much that, you know, in fact I'm convinced we were told in the 1990s the sea level was going to be already 2 meters higher than it is now, so that didn't happen. So okay, you know, I'm not the greatest world environmentalist, save the polar bear campaigner for me. So there we go. Okay, and also in today's video, I just want to talk about the trips that are coming up with Drive-In Venture. We are shortly about to enjoy our Thrones tour, taking in Northern Yorkshire, North York Moors, Whitby, Alnwick Castle, up to Langley Castle Hotel, and then we're going to finish up towards Kielder Water, and that great piece of scenery up there. So that's coming right up early September, and then, you know, Highlander, it's still there, it's still coming up, and I just hope, you know, we get a few more takers for that, because it's a birthday weekend, it's going to be brilliant. And the thing I really want to talk about is I've made plans now for a trip in 2022. It's my 50th year, so just can't wait to do this trip. I've always wanted to go and do Norway, and once upon a time I used to be able to get to Norway on a ferry from the UK, but that's all gone now. So now you can only get to Norway by going from Hull to Rotterdam, then Rotterdam to Kiel in northern Germany, and then there's a ferry which takes you to Oslo. So that's coming up in 2022. We're going to do that trip in June, and the Atlantic Coast Road in Norway. These sort of like bridges that span these sort of islands on the west coast, and these fantastic little villages on the way over towards Bergen. We're gonna do that amazing series of bridges as we do that, and then we're going to go up to Trondheim, and because it's June, it's going to be light till late on, till late on, so we'll be able to drive later in the day. So we're going to make about a week and a day's worth of time, with that time aside to do that trip. So that's coming in 2022. So I'm going to put all the details on that when I firm up the pricing and what we're going to be doing, because I've already had a number of people already kind of pre-book, so that's good. And the trip I'm doing, which it's not a driving venture trip, it's just something I want to do in October. A bit of a sort of scouting around for a trip I hope to do later in 2022. That's in the balance, because countries, getting into these countries and you've been jabbed, and I can't go to Austria. I mean, it's work, but I've got a few friends who want to come, but maybe they're working because we're going to feature their cars in the video. I don't know. So that's a bit in the balance. And also the track day I was hoping to do in Spa, the F1 circuit, that's again a bit in the balance, because getting into Belgium isn't straightforward as well. So we're going to see what happens there. Okay, so let's get back to the Spyder then. So it actually arrived to Porsche Centre South Lakes. It's funny because my brother contacted me, he works up in that area, and he sent me a text. I was actually down south seeing one of my clients down the south coast, and woke up and he sent me a text. He says, oh yeah, there's a Spyder. I almost said the colour then. There's a Spyder on a transporter outside South Lakes. And then I checked my WhatsApp, and the Ryan, sales manager there, who I deal with, he contacted me with a few photographs, and then I couldn't go and see it on the Friday when I was travelling back, but I went in on the Saturday, and I'm just over the moon with it. It's just brilliant. So there are a few things that are going to be done to the car before I collect it. So I've got some 911R seat inserts. So I've had those. I bought 2 sets actually, and I put a set in the RS. If you see me Instagram, I think I've got a photograph actually to put on my stories anyway. So I've got the 911R inserts, and they're in the GT3 RS now, and the set's ready to go in the Spyder. So that they're being put in, so they look really, really good. And then on the back, even though it was a coloured sample car, I couldn't have the logo, the Spyder bit on the back. They wouldn't paint that, so that's just come in a standard badge. So I've ordered a new badge, and that's been painted in a colour to match in with the car. And then the Spyder logos where the roof attaches, I've had two new ones of those purchased, and they're being painted, so they're being replaced. But the main hold up really is the exhaust, because I've ordered the car graphic exhaust. Ironically, there's a company in the UK where they're waiting for these valves to come in from the a company called Helical, and they're delayed. So it's looking like it's going to be into probably early September before that arrives. So I suppose it's good news in a way, because it's the next registration number, although it's going to go on a personalised plate. I did try to get another number plate for the car, but the bidding got stupid, and I just thought it's just not worth that kind of money. But I'm looking into another one, let's see what happens. But I've still got my other plate, which I like, which I've had on my M3 and the Spyder, so that'll be the one that'll probably go on it, but we'll see. There's a outside chance a different one will go on it, but we'll see. So that's the delay. It's the exhaust system, because it's it's a bit of a annoying thing that I have to wait for that really, but that's life. Well, about this car, it's got a lot of juice. And it's great for a play when you fancy it. Yeah, so it's a bit annoying I've got to wait for this exhaust, because I thought to myself, maybe I'd have the car in August, but it doesn't like it will have. But never mind, that's fine. And when this video goes out, I probably will have done my next drive. Our last drive we did through northern Cumbria, then over into Northumberland, and then down to County Durham. Great success. I really enjoyed that day out. It was absolutely fantastic. Had some new members along, so had a couple of new faces. That's good. So again, if you're on the fence and thinking to yourself, should I get involved, and come along, because we're all pretty decent guys, pretty friendly, enjoy our driving, and a nice lunch at the end. So yeah, fantastic. We are taking applications, so hopefully you'll come along and get involved with Drive Venture. But our next drive, which is going out on the 28th of August, and you probably will have already had that drive. I'm not sure when I'm going to put this video out with some holding commitments and one thing and another. But nonetheless, that's the 28th of August. So, well, actually, these drives are great, and that's going to start at Porsche Centre South Lakes, and then we're going to have a coffee, and then we're going to go and do a bit of West Cumbria and some of my old favourite places like Honister. It's great for the photos and things like that. So, again, I was hoping I would have had the new car for that, but unfortunately. It's just the exhaust, just been delayed because of that, really. So, but it's going to be worth it. It really is going to be worth it. And someone's calling me, so I just have to sign off for now. Okay, so I have done the shopping. I thought I'll just get the shopping done, get the fuel in. Costco, it's just so cheap for fuel. I mean, it's still very expensive compared to what it used to be like, but it's the cheapest around. So if you're not a member and you've got a place, Costco nearby with a petrol station, get a membership, because you make your money back and some. So yes, the Spyder, it's there. It's at the dealer. I've seen it more than once. I'm over the moon with it, and it's just so tantalising. Let's get it on the road. I could just have the PPF fitted and then leave it and get the exhaust fitted when that comes in, but because the exhaust's not going to come probably until September, I'm best to kind of tie the two together, and then I'll get it transported, get the PPF done, and full new car detail at the signature group, ceramic coating, all the sexy stuff. You see all these people having done to the cars. You might even do a bit of a video on that, and then from there, like I did with the RS when the PPF's on, because I've got to protect that PTS paint. I paid so much for it, bloody hell. Anyway, then I'll just drive it up to 9 miles to drop it off, and then all the exhaust will go on. So if you haven't seen any of the car graphic stuff on social media, if you check out some of they've got a YouTube video with a really nice white Spyder with the full system on, which is the system I'm getting, and it does sound really good. And what I like about it, it's just very in keeping with the car, so it's not, it just amplifies, I think, what's already there, and I think that's what I wanted, rather than something that was too extreme, because I kind of got that with the RS, really. So anyway, and also a big thanks to everyone that's been watching my recent content. I've had a massive response by my standards to the two GT3s, the Shark Blue cars, which I recently drove on the channel, manual PDK. I just think the PDK suited that car with the wing and everything. Maybe, as I say, I was going touring, I might feel differently. I just think the new and standard exhaust system looks good. I've seen a few videos with people's cars with them with the back bumper off, the back surround off, and you actually look at those OPFs on the new GT car, GT3, and they do seem a lot bigger. So I think they've learnt a lesson there about having them more free flowing and noisier. So there we are. Yeah, so a few interesting developments. I'm not going to say too much more than this is my 16610 Submariner, which I've got into the last few days, and it's such a classic watch. I was really pleased to be able to get one of my friends a watch. I've done this for a few of my friends. You go in a dealer, I want to get this deal Rolex, you've got no chance. One of my friends asked me if I could help him out with a watch. It did take about a year to come, but he just recently got the new Explorer in the 36mm, and I think that's a really knockout watch. I think he's really going to enjoy having what I think is one of the most classic pieces in the Rolex catalogue. Nice and freshly updated too, so I know he'll be enjoying that watch very, very much. So yeah, some exciting things coming up with the club. Thrones Tour, then it's going to be Scotland. I have actually, just coming back to what I was saying about the Spyder thing I joined, there's a lot of Spyder owners in it. I'm looking to do something from the Brecon Beacons, driving right through Wales up to Northern Wales and overnight, then a little bit more. I mean, I have driven quite a bit in Wales, but this is going to be perhaps some new stomping grounds, some areas of Wales I haven't driven in very, very much. So that's good for intel, because all these roads are all there. it's just about discovering them and getting to know them a bit, really, I suppose. So that's probably going to maybe feature in maybe a Wales trip that I might put on. Obviously, you've got to think about the weather changing in October, November time, and one thing and another. So, you know, if you are thinking about the club, then you know, contact me, get in touch, because people think that I've got involved and come along with stuff, and it's all very sensible, and they have had a whale of a time on these exciting roads that we've taken on together. So there we go, there we are. Don't worry about your mileage on your car too much. It will affect its value, but all that's going to change. The whole metrics and dynamics and how people value these fantastic aspirated machines that are on the road, it's all going to change soon, because there's only going to be so many aspirated engines on the road soon, and there won't be any new ones coming. So swapping out one thing to get the next new thing, that's going to stop, and you're going to see more mileage on these cars. Always nice to drive to Costco in the 63. A little bit of a takeover manoeuvre earlier, it's quite exciting. So as always, I appreciate you watching this content. If you're not subscribed, if you got this far, you probably are a subscriber. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.